Hello friends, my name is Praveen Anchal. In this video, we will discuss about features of democracy, and the first feature is major decision by elected leaders. So here in this feature, we will discuss basically about two countries, that is one is Pakistan and the second one is Iraq. So let's start from the Pakistan. So here in Pakistan in October 1999, one military coup happened. So in Pakistan, General Pervez Musharraf led a military coup in October 1999. Now what is the meaning of military coup? He, with the help of military, changed the existing democratic government. On that time, the Prime Minister of Pakistan was Nawaz Sharif ji, but he used his military to change this democratic government and established his own government, and he called himself as the chief executive of the country. Now later he changed the designation to president. What is the meaning of designation? That is post. So what is a line here? So previously he was chief executive and now he is president. And in 2002 he held a referendum. A referendum is the process in which you are taking the opinion of the people on a particular issue. So he conducted in 2002 a referendum in the country that granted him a 5-year extension. You can understand, means people cannot give him those extension. So it is clearly visible that he has done something wrong, and that was highlighted by the Pakistani media, human rights organization, and democratic activists have also said that in this referendum some type of malpractices and fraud has been done. Now after that, in August 2002 he issued a legal framework order that amended the constitution of Pakistan. So according to this order, the president can dismiss the national and provincial assemblies. Now this is again very important thing that you have to understand. So you understand, this legal framework order has changed the constitution of Pakistan, under which now the president Pervez Musharraf can change the elected member of national and provincial assemblies. Now national means at the central level and provincial means at the state level. Like in India we have Vidhan Sabha and Lok Sabha. So similarly, now these members who are coming through election can be dismissed if they are not following the instructions of Pervez Musharraf, which is completely undemocratic. And further he made one particular organization that is called as National Security Council, in which the maximum people are or the maximum member are the military officers and having military background. They can supervise the work, that is they can supervise the policies and the program that has been passed by the civilian cabinet. Now remember, in the government hierarchy, the civilian cabinet is the most important body. Now you have to understand, because under this democratic setup or the democratic government, the civilian cabinet is the most important body, and in this now all the elected members are the main player who are taking all the policies. Now this elected civilian cabinet will be supervised by the National Security Council, which is completely unelected. They are completely having military background. So once again, very quick recap. First of all, he did the military coup. After that he changed the democratic government into the self rule government, democratic government to the military rule government, and he declared himself as the chief executive of Pakistan. Later he designated himself as the president of Pakistan. Later in 2002 he conducted one referendum under which he has given himself as the 5-year extension, which claimed to be which claimed by so many people that it was done on the basis of malpractices and cheating and fraud. After that we came to know that he has brought in 2002 a legal framework order under which he can dismiss the state and the national and provincial assemblies if they are not following the instructions of General Pervez Musharraf. And later he made one organization which is called as National Security Council, which can supervise the work of the civilian cabinet, and this National Security Council will be dominated by the army officers. So this type of undemocratic things were happening in Pakistan. So basically we can say that the Pakistan has had elections, elected representatives have some powers, but the final power rests with the military officers and General Pervez Musharraf himself, who was the president on that time. So clearly there are many reasons why Pakistan under General Pervez Musharraf should not be called a democratic country. So friends, what you think about this all case study? Please comment below and let me know. One more thing I just want to tell you, that now this Pervez Musharraf has been convicted by the Special Court of Pakistan for the charges of treachery. Treachery means he has betrayed his country, Desh Droh, and he has been given punishment of death sentence. So that is the development in this case study that I wanted to tell you. Now we will discuss about the next country, that is Iraq. So you see, Iraq is always related to one terrorist organization that is called as ISIS, that is Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. So in Iraq always there is terrorist activities are happening, but before many years Iraq, all the internal and external decision was taken by some external countries. Like there is one country, that is America. So America was taking all the internal and external political decisions of Iraq, which is again the violation of this core feature of democracy, that is elected leaders should take the decision, which is not visible in the case of Pakistan and Iraq during those specific time period. So that is the first feature, that is major decisions by elected leaders. I hope you understood. Now we'll discuss about the next one, that is free and fair electoral competition. So friends, the second most important feature of democracy is free and fair electoral competition. Under this feature we will discuss about two very important countries, that is China and Mexico. So let's start from the first one, that is China. So as we all know, China is a one party country, the single party country where only one political party is there, that is called as Chinese Communist Party. And the name of the Chinese parliament is National People's Congress. Like in India we have Sansad, that is parliament, and but we have multiple political party. But in China there is only one party, that is called as Chinese Communist Party. So if any candidate want to fight elections, they have to take permission from this Chinese Communist Party only. And this Chinese Communist Party has allied with some other smaller parties also, that is 8 in number. So they have to take permission from this Chinese Communist Party or their allied party before fighting elections. So you can understand, after winning election, whoever will come as a candidate, government will be always of one party, that is Chinese Communist Party. So you tell me, where is the opposition? If only one party is there, so that was a single party will always be in a rule, then who will be in a opposition? Who will point out the mistakes done by the ruling party? That is against the that is against the core feature of democracy, that is free and fair electoral competition. Means competition is only not there. You are not giving choice to the people. People don't have any choice at all. That is why China will not be called as truly democratic country, and that is why India is the largest democratic country of the world. Now the next one is Mexico. So you see, Mexico from period 1930 to 2000, only one party is winning the election all the time, that is PRI, that is Institutional Revolutionary Party. And for these 70 years this political party is winning the election by election on the basis of malpractices and cheating. They are asking the government employees to attend the meetings. They are saying government school teachers to force the parents of the school to vote for their political party. And the media of this Mexico is also reporting in a partial manner. They are not reporting the true facts and things. And they were always appreciating the ruling party, and they were always criticizing the opposition party. So again you can see, people don't have real choice, because here for these 70 years one government was only there with the help of malpractices and cheating. So people don't have choice, as well as there was no way the ruling party could be defeated. That is why in a democracy we always say that democracy must be based on a free and fair elections where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. In China, people don't have choice, whereas in Mexico, people are cheated by the ruling party. So that's it in this one. Now we'll see the next one, that is the next feature of democracy, that is one person, one vote, and one value. This is also called as universal adult franchise. What is the meaning of that? Means universal adult franchise means it is universally available to all adult means 18 or above people of any country that has the power of franchise. Means franchise means casting, power of casting their vote. So that is called as universal adult franchise. So this principle has not been followed in some countries, like in Saudi Arabia. So until 2015, the women of Saudi Arabia do not have the right to vote. Means you can understand 50% of the population do not have right to vote. So how you will call that country as a democratic country? Now you see the next example is coming from the Estonia that has made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. Means if you belong to Russian minority community, then you will not get right to vote very easily. Then the next one is coming from the Fiji. So in the Fiji, the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than that of an Indian Fijian. So you can understand indigenous means local. So if any Indian person has migrated to Fiji country, and after living so many years, if they have got citizenship, so during the voting time their voting value will be less than the local Fiji people. So again you can see the partialities. So this universal adult franchise, that is very important feature of democracy, is violated in these three country, and that is why we will not call this three country as a truly democratic country. So you can understand how this very important feature of democracy is violated. That is why we say that in a democracy each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. For example, you imagine, suppose in India, if two people are living, one is majority and one is minority. Suppose in majority Hindus are there and in minority Muslims are there. So if minority people will not get voting right easily, so will you call that country as a truly democratic country? No. Like in India, we give equal voting right to each and everyone regardless of their religion and caste and a number of other parameters. That is why India is one of the best democratic country. That is unity in diversity. We promote unity in diversity. Friends, now the next feature is rule of law and respect for rights. Under this feature, we will discuss about Zimbabwe. So here, this country got independence in 1980 from the white minority rule, and after getting independence, ZANU-PF, that is Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front, formed the government in Zimbabwe, and their leader Robert Mugabe became the president of Zimbabwe since independence. And you must know that both Robert Mugabe and ZANU-PF was involved in the freedom struggle of Zimbabwe from those white minority rule. But once they came into power, their greed increased and they started doing n number of malpractices. They have amended constitution multiple times for giving more and more power to president and reducing his accountability towards the people. In Zimbabwe, the opposition party were harassed a lot, and the public protest and the criticism of the government was not allowed, and they have this type of activities were declared illegal. There is a law that limits the right to criticize the president. Television and radio are controlled by the government and give only the ruling party's versions. Means these media and news channels are only and only appreciating the work of the government, and they were not doing anything else. And there are independent newspaper, but the government harassed those journalists who go against it. You can understand what kind of situation was there during his rule. The government has ignored some court judgments that went against it and has pressurized judges also. So you can understand, the ruling party was misusing their power to the next level. They were not allowed the opposition party to work properly. They have not given enough basic rights to the people of Zimbabwe. They have not given liberty to the press and media, and they were also pressurizing on the judiciary system of Zimbabwe. That is why we cannot call Zimbabwe as a truly democratic country, and all the undemocratic things were happening in this country. So that is why we must say that the government should and must perform and function within the constitutional limits and must respect the basic fundamental rights of the individual. So friends, so far we have discussed about the 4 features of democracy, that is major decisions by elected leaders, free and fair electoral competition, one person, one vote and one value, and the rule of law and respect for rights. So that's it in this video. We will meet you in the next video where we will discuss about the merits and demerits of democracy. Till then, bye bye, take care of yourself, thank you.